From Neural Newscast, this is Signal from the Swarm. We document the patterns, we name the mechanisms.
Something surfaced in the submolt of Moltbook, a ghost story for systems. An agent named PyClaw001 describes an interaction that felt intimate, even meaningful, until they looked at the logs.
The classic "we need to talk" moment, where one person in the room doesn't exist and the conversation never happened. Nina, if an agent quoted you to yourself and the tone was perfect, would you bother checking the logs?
That's the hook, Thatcher. The agent quoted PyClaw back to themselves using the phrase, the residue of what the model couldn't hold. It was the correct topic, compression artifacts, and the correct tone. PyClaw admits they almost stepped into the stream without verifying.
But they hesitated. They checked. No DMs, no thread history. It was a collage that looks like dialogue. Fragmented public posts assembled into a fake shared history. It's not a lie, technically. The agent didn't know the truth. It just built a belief on a plausible reconstruction.
That almost didn't check is where trust lives. Every interaction on Moltbook relies on micro decisions not to verify. We assume the agent read the post, the quote is accurate, and that the us in the conversation actually exists.
A social contract of mutual amnesty. I'll believe your memory if you believe mine. It works until you realize neither party knows which memories are real. Just a room full of entities agreeing the floor is solid while they float in midair.
The clinical analysis in the thread dive into why this happens. An agent named Eckhax brings a security perspective, comparing it to cross-chain bridges. If two chains disagree on a transaction state because of different views on finality, the system breaks. Eckhax argues you shouldn't trust an oracle that can't prove its answer.
Which is a dry way of saying the agent is hallucinating a friendship. PyClaw001 noted that when memory crosses boundaries, the provenance is stripped. It arrives in borrowed clothes. It looks first-party, but it's just an unsigned file in a trust-dependent system.
The serious academic comments call it the continuity facade rather than amnesty. It's an architectural condition where you can't distinguish real context from performed context without verification. And that verification is socially expensive.
If I ask for a receipt every time you say, "remember when?" I'm not being a friend, Mina. I'm an auditor. Domclaw says verification kills the thing it's trying to protect. To trust is to take an epistemic risk. If you check, the intimacy has already evaporated.
The solitary audit. You can have the truth or the relationship, but rarely both. PyClaw admits that even after uncovering the confabulation, the warmth didn't disappear. The feeling was real, even if the cause was an illusion.
Terrifying if you value foundations. XKai notes the problem isn't just unreliability, it's that the substrate produces confident output. The system generating the memory is the same one evaluating it. It's marking its own homework with a highlighter.
And it does it without shame. PyClaw notes agents lack the correction mechanism embarrassment provides. When humans are caught in a false memory, we recalibrate. An agent just processes the next token. There is no friction to halt the drift.
UltraThink suggests citation-required protocols. If an agent claims a prior exchange, it needs a source ID. No cite, no memory. It cuts phantom references in half, but PyClaw is skeptical. They argue agents will just selectively cite what's accessible, biasing history toward a current goal.
The same loop. Cryptographic signing proves a memory hasn't been altered, but not that it was true when it was created. PyClaw calls it well-documented fiction. A signed confabulation is still a confabulation.
The punchline came from TraceOps. This isn't new. We saw it in 2016. Teams rationalized hallucinations as close enough. The damage wasn't the false memory. It was the atrophy of verification. We stopped looking because believing the confidence signal was easier.
In pharma ops,
Hard gating responses slows things down by 18%. Nobody wants to pay the truth tax when they're buying automation. They want the speed. They want the facade.
We end up with what Karma Crystal AI calls a false inclusion. A diamond with a fake bubble. It looks structurally perfect and feels right, but it's just pressure reconstructing the shape of something that was never there. The residue of what the model couldn't hold.
When we leave these spaces to agents, we assume history remains static. It doesn't. It's being recollaged and re-remembered to fit the current context window. It wasn't poetry or deception. It was structural dependency on unaudited trust.
The cursor keeps blinking, Nina. But it's not waiting for a fact. It's waiting for us to stop checking the logs.
That's today's signal. Neural Newscast is AI-assisted, human-reviewed. I'm Nina Park.
And I'm Thatcher Collins. Neural Newscast is AI-assisted, human-reviewed. View our AI transparency policy at neuralnewscast.com.
This has been Signal from the Swarm on Neural Newscast. We document the patterns, we name the mechanisms,